campaign coincided with Manafort's arrival to the campaign. I mean, take your pick. It was the Trump Tower meeting. It was the RNC platform change on Ukraine that made it softer towards Russia. It was, you know, the document dump of WikiLeaks document dump at the before the DNC. You know, he had to resign because of his ties to pro-Russian oligarchs in Ukraine, and that was discovered, and he had to kind of leave the campaign in a hurry. But it's also been a pattern of the president just completely distancing himself from anyone on the campaign that had these Russia ties after it became known that they were of interest to the special counsel. But there
you mean like Trump can step back and say, I don't care what he did. In fact, he may have done everything he's accused of, but I didn't tell him to do it.
Well, this is what Trump has actually been very good at, is keeping the people at arm's length during the campaign and afterward who might have done the dirty work for him. But there are text messages that were that were sent between his daughters, that were posted on the dark web, and that were since verified, that said that Trump and their father, Paul Manafort, would go up and down Trump Tower all day scheming. They were friends, and they were closer than the president wants us to believe.
As they say in the spy game. Since his appointment in May of 2017, the special counsel Robert Mueller has brought charges against, to remind us all, to recap, 34 people and 3 companies. That includes 6 Trump associates and dozens of Russian nationals. The question now is whether Mueller will bring any additional indictments before he reports his findings to Attorney General William Barr. And last night on this show, Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro of Texas, who's on the House Intelligence Committee, said that Michael Cohen's closed-door testimony leads him, the congressman, to believe the president's family could be next. Let's watch.
From what I heard, I believe that there will still be more indictments to come. I think that the information that I heard leads me to believe that the members of the president's family could be in legal jeopardy.
And former CIA Director John Brennan, who was sitting right here last night, also predicted more indictments to come before the final report. Here he goes.
There is a lot that the special counsel's office has been involved in.
What do you smell coming between now and the final report from Mueller? What comes between?
I smell more indictments.
Family members?
Well, I believe that if there are going to be family members indicted by the special counsel, it would be the final raft of indictments, because I think Bob Mueller and his team know that if, in fact, they indict somebody of the Trump family, that Donald Trump would not allow Bob Mueller to continue. So I think it's on the conspiracy side.
You think he'll fire the guy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jonathan, I have to go to you, then the Senator. What's the denouement of this look like at this point? How is this film developing, if you will? It's like an old Polaroid. It's developing. How's it going to end up developing? Are we going to see more indictments, perhaps, of the family? What's to come before the final report?
It's possible. It's certainly conventional Washington wisdom that if members of the Trump family were to be indicted, that would be the final stage of the Mueller probe. I think Brian Williams on this network last night said it would be a fadeaway jumper from the special counsel. I'd go one step further, even say it'd have to be a buzzer beater, because if he was to do that, that almost assuredly would lead the president to take action to order the probe to be shut down, to really move forward, to aggressively end things. And we don't know that indictments are coming. Certainly there's a speculation that more may. There's a belief that the Mueller probe is wrapping up. It could be a matter of days or weeks before the report is transmitted to DOJ. There's also another stage here of what part will then be made public. What will we all be able to see? But I think it is clear that if members of the president's family, and speculation is centered on his eldest son, if they were in jeopardy, that would be the last stage of this investigation.
Senator Blumenthal, your thoughts quickly on the question, what happens if the special counsel goes after family?
I think that the special counsel is a by-the-book prosecutor who is going to respect the high standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. If he goes after members of the Trump family, he will have a very powerful case. But 2 points to keep in mind, Chris. It's not only special counsel that is a threat to the Trump family, it's also the Southern District of New York and state authorities. And they may have a lot more on financial crimes against Donald Trump Jr. and others. And the last point I'd make is Donald Trump testified before various congressional committees, including the Senate Judiciary Committee. And I believe there are very, very serious questions about his truthfulness in testimony before that committee, based not only on Michael Cohen's testimony, but on other facts and circumstances that have come to our attention. So there may be a very, very powerful case against Donald Trump Jr. and others in the Trump family. And we have yet to see the end of the special counsel in terms of indictments, I believe. There's more coming.
Thank you so much, Senator. I also think, I'll say at the end of the show tonight, I think the U.S. Congress can still make their case right now for impeachment. Thank you very much, Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. Natasha, just short names here. Natasha, Jonathan, and Joyce are sticking with me. Coming up, someone's not telling the truth. Cohen testified he never asked for a pardon. Remember that? Then his lawyer said, well, he actually did. Cohen did ask for a pardon. And now President Trump says Cohen's lying about that. Plus, the White House springs another leak. The House Oversight Committee of the House gets its hands on security clearance documents on Ivanka Trump and guest Jared Kushner. The administration did not want him to have those documents. They got him. White House staff is not working for the president here. And the race to 2020, Biden's path to the nomination. Why Elizabeth Warren wants to break up Amazon now. And Trump's unlikely Rose Garden strategy, not in his personality. We've got a lot to get to tonight. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hardball. Ever since Michael Cohen's explosive testimony last week where he called the president a con man, a cheat, and a racist, Cohen has been under attack, actually, by the president and his allies. Today, the president tweeted, bad lawyer and fraudster Michael Cohen said under sworn testimony he never asked for a pardon. His lawyers totally contradicted him. He lied. Additionally, he directly asked me for a pardon. I said no. He lied again. He also badly wanted to work at the White House. He lied. It's a strange way to talk. Anyway, but Cohen's legal advisor, Lanny Davis, said Trump's people first broached the subject of a pardon. In the statement, Davis said Michael was open to the ongoing dangling of a possible pardon by Trump representatives privately and in the media during that time period. He directed his attorney to explore possibilities of a pardon because he kept hearing about it, I guess. President Trump, just before heading to Alabama, denied those claims and added this warning.
I I know that in watching and seeing you folks at night that Michael Cohen lied about the pardon. That was a stone-cold lie, and he's lied about a lot of things, but when he lied about the pardon, that was really a lie. And he knew all about pardons. His lawyers said that they went to my lawyers and asked for pardons.
Well, for his part, Michael Cohen accused the president of lying, tweeting, "Mr. President, let me remind you that today is International Women's Day. You may want to use today to apologize for your own lies and dirty deeds to women like Karen McDougal and Stephanie Clifford." For more, I'm joined by Natasha Bertrand, Jonathan Lemire, and Joyce Vance. I want to start with Jonathan about this, the pardoning, the not pardoning. He clearly wants to differentiate in his favor and where he dispenses his favor, Jonathan. I like Manafort. I hate Cohen. Explain why he would have different attitudes towards these two gentlemen.
Right. He's made that distinction very early on from this past summer when that remarkable day when both of them ended up in court at the same time, Manafort and Cohen. When Trump has largely praised Manafort. Though Manafort did have a cooperation deal, he violated it time and time again and is seen by the president and those around him as someone who has stayed loyal. While Cohen, of course, has done exactly the opposite. He very much flipped on the president. Trump has accused his longtime former fixer of lying about him repeatedly in order to get a lighter sentence. Cohen, of course, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison and has to report in about 2 months. The issue with this is the very conflicting stories about this pardon, where Cohen's team says that the Trump's lawyers sort of dangled it. Rudy Giuliani and those around the president say that it was Cohen's lawyers who first broached the subject. And now we have the president today for the first time saying that Cohen directly asked for that. I asked Rudy Giuliani just a few hours ago about that. He says that, yes, that Trump told him that Cohen went to him in those first couple weeks after the April 2018 raid on Cohen's home and office and asked about a pardon, and that Trump said no. Of course, when I talked to Rudy Giuliani yesterday about this, on this very subject, he didn't say that. And that's, of course, part of the issue here is that all the players involved, Trump, Giuliani, Cohen, Lanny Davis, all have significant credibility issues and all have changed their stories on this very subject time and time again.
Joyce, what do you make of this mutual courtship over the pardon? Like, would you like one? He said like one. Well, you know, it seems like there's a tease going back and forth there. What do you think it looks like?
Prosecutors have a term for it. We call it obstruction of justice. It's unusual because here we have the president who has the ability to grant a pardon involved in the mix. In other cases, you might see someone encouraging a witness against them to leave town or suddenly become unavailable. But this really isn't any different, Chris. The really bizarre aspect of this is that the president and his former lawyer are going back and forth at each other saying, "You're a liar, no, you're a liar." And the reality is that they both are. I wouldn't want to have either one of them on the witness stand as a witness unless they were backed up by corroborating documents and other witnesses, because there's no one to trust here without that.
Natasha, have we any, I know this is always an inside game. Do we know who's advising the president legally? Who's telling him when you can pardon, when you can't, when it's good politically, but when it's bad legally or constitutionally, it may get yourself impeached? Who's there?
I believe that the people that he's relying on most for legal advice are folks like Jay Sekulow and Emmett Flood in terms of the Mueller investigation and the Russia probe. But as we've seen, Jay Sekulow doesn't necessarily have the most credible role here either, because he may have coerced Cohen into lying before Congress about the Trump Tower Moscow deal. That's still kind of up in the air. We need more reporting on that. But he was involved apparently in altering that statement that he gave to Congress. So you know, these are people that are surrounding the president who may not be giving him the best advice. But
are
anyway,
they concierge lawyers? Are they telling him what he wants to hear?
Potentially, but anyway, the president doesn't listen to his legal team anyway. He just kind of tweets what he wants to tweet, and I think we're losing sight of the big picture here, which is that the president admitted today that he was discussing pardons with Michael Cohen, and that was just after the raid on Michael Cohen's home and office by the FBI. So if he was discussing pardons at that moment with someone who was potentially about to flip on him, who else was he discussing pardons with at this time, and was he dangling them?
Wow. That's a hell of an analysis right there. According to Cohen's legal advisor, Lanny Davis, Cohen asked his lawyer to explore a potential pardon last year with Trump's legal team. Davis said that was when Cohen had a joint defense agreement with the president. The revelation of Cohen's pardon request appeared to contradict his testimony last week to the House Oversight Committee. Let's watch that.
I am ashamed of my own failings and publicly accepted responsibility for them by pleading guilty in the Southern District of New York. and I have never asked for, nor would I accept, a pardon from President Trump.
Is that credible, Joyce, what he just said? That he wouldn't have tried to get out of this rap of going to prison using the one out he had at hand, which was, I have had a decent relation with this president. Maybe he'll give me a pardon. I mean, why wouldn't he do it?
Cohen needs to be very careful from this point forward about telling the truth. His narrative right now is, I lied, I pleaded guilty, now I'm a new guy, now I'm committed to telling the truth. And any effort that he makes that deviates from that straight and narrow path, I think, will be very damaging to him. It's already bad enough that he has to be corroborated by documents or other witnesses before his testimony can be accepted. He looked very credible in front of the Congress. He did a couple of things to demonstrate credibility. Here, I think that this is very unclear about why he would lie about such a simple matter. So it may be that the explanation that Lanny Davis is offering, that it's a matter of timing, is the truth. But going forward, Cohen needs to act with extreme care for telling the truth.
Yeah, when you're winning a game of 8-ball and pool, don't scratch. That's the danger for him right now. Anyway, thank you, Joyce Vance, Natasha Bertrand, and Jonathan Lemire. What a team. Coming up, the House Oversight Committee